It's pretty explicit now that there are different rules for different people in the public debate and public sphere about this, because Marjorie Taylor Greene, member of Congress, and we'll get into this in some more detail later on the show. A lot of you know her, right, from the state of Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been kicked off of Twitter forever. So she's a sitting member of Congress. She's off Twitter. The Ayatollahs, so to speak, the Taliban, they can have a Twitter account. Putin can have a Twitter account, but you can't have Marjorie Taylor Greene with a Twitter account, and we'll get into why that is. But to the point about masking, and I remember, and this is to remind everybody, Clay and I first team up and talk about this issue early on in the pandemic, because, hold on a second. What doctor says that, masks just make people feel better and don't work, and then a few weeks later goes, well, I was actually lying. I just didn't want you to run out of masks. So that's what Fauci did. That's not credible. That's not ethical. It's not credible. That's not what really happened. What became clear was that people were clinging to masks as first an anxiety tool, right? I'm so scared. And then it was a compliance show. I'm one of the good people. But you and I have I've gotten fact checks written up about me. I've gotten Twitter strikes and Facebook shutdowns and all this. And I know you have too. This is so weird, Clay, because here's CNN's favorite doc on this over the break, Dr. Alina Nguyen on CNN.
Cloth masks are not appropriate for this pandemic. It's not appropriate for Omicron. It was not appropriate for Delta, Alpha, or any of the previous variants either, because we're dealing with something that's airborne.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on, Clay. She's not the only one. Dr. Scott Lieb on Face the Nation, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, rather, on Face the Nation over the weekend said this. This is what he says about masks at this stage. 13.
Cloth masks aren't going to provide a lot of protection. That's the bottom line. This is an airborne illness. We now understand that. And a cloth mask is not going to protect you from a virus that spreads through airborne transmission. It could protect better through droplet transmission, something like the flu, but not something like this coronavirus.
We have known, Clay, that this is aerosolized and not droplet spread for 18 months, going on 2 years. But they say it now, and it's okay.
And what they're really going to say, certainly Dr. Lena Nguyen, who is the queen of pandemic over response. I mean, what she's going to say is that everybody needs to be in N95 masks, including your children, which is totally nonsensical. But all of this is a collapsing narrative. And what's interesting to watch, Buck, is just how quickly they're all claiming that they didn't say what they actually did say. And I want to play this, because I think that Rachel Maddow, all of the lies that she told in March, none of it's been flagged as disinformation. None of it has been in any way, Buck, acknowledged as, she's one of the bad people, she's a flaw here, and we need to get into what's actually happening going forward and what they're trying to argue. But if you actually listen to what, I believe we have this audio, right, of Rachel Maddow, number 10. This is March 29th of 2021. This is when all of the things that she says about the effectiveness of the COVID vaccine, they're all lies, and there's virtually no consequences. Listen to this.
Instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person, potentially mutating and becoming more virulent and drug resistant along the way, now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people. That means the vaccines will get us to the end of this.
She could not have been more wrong, Clay.
Everything she said is 100% wrong.
And it's not like she just went out there, and I know MSNBC is going to pay her $30 million a year to do like a documentary a month or something, or, every 6 months, whatever it is. Everything that she said was really just a reflection of what the consensus of the apparatus was at that time. Rochelle Walensky of the CDC, Dr. Fauci of NIAID, they were all pushing the same storyline. And there's two big, there's a lot of ways you can analyze this and see it as deeply troubling, but there's two sides of it. On the one hand, being really wrong about medicine and about health issues when you claim to know the answer, not to have an idea, but to know the answer, is in and of itself a problem. But beyond, just for credibility and for why should the public, beyond that, though, decisions have been made, and this is why I get so angry about the cloth mask thing as well, and masking up between bites and all of this idiocy. Decisions are made by people and have been made, Clay, based upon this incorrect scientific, quote unquote, proclamation.